Hello, hello. Third time's a charm. Trying to make life work. So I'm so excited for you to meet our special guest tonight, Dream. He is the founder of YAMT. So I'm so excited for you to meet him tonight. Hopefully, Instagram lets us be great. We will see. And so YAMT wants to create a different pathway for survivors into the employment sector, a different model of support when it comes to incorporating survivors into leading their own tables rather than waiting for someone to let them sit at theirs. When a lot of times the tables that are created are not meant for us. So the goal is to support and invest back into the community by investing in survivor-led small businesses together with your support and with the small businesses that we're featuring through the flea market and through ourselves, our social enterprise program. Hi, okay, yes, it worked. I was just talking to myself and then like one other person in the room. It's okay.
Yeah, I was just like, oh my gosh, it's not allowing me to be great right now. What is happening?
I know. I'm Instagram has an issue tonight. We're just gonna fingers crossed that it allows us to be great for the rest of the live. So how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. In yourself?
I'm alive. I'm here.
Yeah, no, trust me, I totally hear you on that one. It's a pandemic,
Yes. And I need a nap. I need like 10 naps. Like, I just want to go to sleep. So tell everybody, introduce yourself. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself. I'm so excited to have you on our live today.
Thank you. Well, maybe if you want to give like 30 seconds to see if folks come in or something.
Yes. They're probably like, why do we keep going off and coming on? Technical difficulties. So, what I've noticed is that people start coming in as Instagram says, hey, YAMT has gone live. Support. So I was just telling them about the flea market and about our entrepreneurship program and why it's important to invest in that. And I feel like I've said it like 6 times because the technical difficulties. So hopefully people get the message now.
Yeah, I got you.
I like your sweatshirt.
Thank you. My partners, they have 2 of them, so I always steal one of theirs.
That's what I do with my wife. She's always like, listen, why are you always taking my clothes? Because they're much more comfier than mine. It's fine.
Right.
Like, I don't need my own clothes. It's all right. We make it work. So, yeah. So go ahead. Take the floor. Take it away.
So, my name is Dream. Pronouns is he, they, and them. I am the founder of YAMT, which means we live in truth. Let me get comfortable. Sorry. We started about a year ago in 2019. So we have been officially open for exactly a year and a month. So we are getting up there, What else? What can I say? I am originally from New York, born and raised.
You got a whole New York accent.
You know what's crazy is everybody says that. Like, they're like, where you from? And then I'm like, oh, I'm from New York. And they're like, oh, where? Like Brooklyn? And I'm like, yeah. Yes, I am from Brooklyn. What else? I am an LGBT advocate, specifically do a lot of trans, I would say trans justice work, because there is a lot of things that revolve around like just social, like just shit that's going on in the world. I'm sorry to say, but it's like it affects like trans people in a whole different way and meaning that a lot of people don't realize. So like I advocate for my community, specifically like homeless, trans folks, sex workers, people who are just like having different like means to live. So it's just like I am just an advocate for that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I can also say about myself is that obviously I'm the founder of 𝑦𝐿IT, and because of 𝑦𝐿IT, it kind of came from like just from like my own experiences and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I just decided to like open it up, and yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit about myself.
What made you
Um,
choose candles? Like that's so unique. Like you're like, listen, I'm gonna make some candles today. Like we're gonna be beautiful. We're gonna make candles. It's gonna be. You want lovely smells in your house? I'm gonna make them.
honestly, because like I see myself as someone who identifies a identity healer. And obviously there's all different types of healers, and I see myself as specifically an identity healer because I feel like I allow people to recognize like their own identities and give them the space to do that. Folks who may not identify as queer, but later on realize that they're queer, or
Mm-hmm.
like some who are comfortable in their sexuality or gender identities, and they just feel comfortable being around me, and also like giving them that space to explore themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's beautiful. I as a clinician, like I try to do that as well because listen, y'all gonna know I'm queer today. I'm here for it. Like we gonna show up and it's gonna be beautiful and everyone's just like, what? Why? Everybody gotta know that. Cause listen, my community needs to know. They need to know I'm here. And I'm gonna support them. So that's really beautiful. And tell tell us a little bit about like what like how it was for you to start a candle business, and it's a whole year. That's beautiful that especially during COVID you're like doing good things. Tell everyone a little bit about that.
um how I started.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's more about like my partner and I, we started just dipping into candles, and figuring out like what we needed spiritually for ourselves and our relationship, and like personally, just like as an individual. And we just came across like doing candles, and I realized that like during that time of like me doing that like meditation and stuff like that, I realized that like, yo, there is a lot of people who are like me that are trans and trans identified, and like I realized that the only time we light candles is when we're dead, like,
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't feel right to me. Also, like because I am very well like into the homeless community, I realized that because like in DC, that's their thing. Like they have a march every year, lighting candles
Mm-hmm.
for the hundreds of people that died that year because of being homeless.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, why are we always realizing that like the time to light a candle is when somebody dead, and not like
Mm-hmm.
in our healing practices? Because that's where like also it originated too. It's not just when somebody died and like, oh, my homie died,
Mm-hmm.
or like, oh, let's light this what is it? That match for them or something like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just like I don't feel comfortable just only celebrating the dead, but also realizing that we are alive and celebrate that also,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's because it becomes a part of our culture overall in the Black community that when people pass away, it's like, okay, we're gonna paint this mural on the side of the building. We're gonna put a whole shrine, and that's it. That like, and we'll do it each time someone dies, and it's like it's hard to get out of that kind of mindset. So it's powerful that you were able to say, all right, I want to transform this. I want to flip this empowering kind of thing. I want to flip this and make it into something that is empowering for people rather than always looking at the hardships that come along with that candle. Like you turn that symbolism into something that is uplifting for our
Yeah.
community. um how would you describe like going on your journey of spiritual healing, or getting people to understand like what it means to be on a spiritual healing kind of journey? Because my mindset is like spiritual and mental health, so I'm like, how do you get people in our community to come and realize that it's important to kind of invest in those things, because it's not really emphasized. It's like, we don't need that. We be fine. Grin and bear it.
I mean, I also feel like I feel like the way that I have people recognize that like you do need candles and like your spiritual or like just like your practices is because it's just like what are you asking for, right? Like at the end of the day, it's just like it starts with you. It doesn't start with anybody else. It starts with you. And I feel like if someone, I don't know how to explain it. Like I just feel like when someone cares about other people, that means that you also have to care about yourself, right? So it's just like everything starts with you, and you have to recognize that and recognize that like life is always going to go on. So it's just like I use like examples is like, do you like smells? Do you like certain scents? What actually makes you calm? Do you realize those things? Because a lot of people don't realize that like sometimes scents could be a trigger, right? But also realizing like how can you take that and like change it and make it more empowering? It's like what actually calms you? What actually brings you these calming, relaxing, elevating feelings? And try to like own those things, but also realizing like what also do you need in those moments, right? That you feel triggered. So it's just like taking a candle and using that as also as a balance. I feel like I help people recognize that they also need that for themselves.
Yeah, that they have to reinvest in themselves. When you think about the time of building up your company and kind of stepping into your passion, how did you stay motivated if like people weren't supportive, or people were like, Dream, what are you doing? Like, just go work a 9 to 5. Like, it'll be fine. Like, you don't need, that's extra. Like, how did you keep yourself motivated? And what supports did you have around you?
Honestly, I feel like one is like my partner. My partner has always like supported what I've done. Even when like I may second guess myself sometimes, you know, they also like hold me accountable and like remind me like, oh, remember you wanted to do this and why you wanted to do it. And also like just the like response and reviews that I've gotten from folks too, just like, oh, they love this scent, or you know, they light it right after they come for work because they know that work is so stressful. And also because I always, every customer, like I always make sure like I affirm them every time they do get a candle, you know, like knowing that you are worth it. Like what anybody say doesn't matter. Like you are worth it. You deserve like as much as love as anybody else. So yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's what it is, and just a reminder that like like it's not always. I feel like it's not always about me, but it's also like me with my community, right? Like you can't do anything if you're not also supporting your community. And that's what I feel like. You're not giving to yourself if you're not giving to your community, because at the end of the day, if you're on your ass, then like who's gonna help you? Like at the end of the day, it's not always just family. Family is part of community, but sometimes those family members aren't as not just as supportive, but know you, you know, like know you as much as like the community would know you, you know. So yeah.
Thank you so much, the travel anthropologist. I love what We Live in Truth stands for too. That's such a beautiful name. Also, like, how did you come up with that name? That's like a good like segue into. You was like, we lit. We're gonna make it short, but it's gonna be like a beautiful.
Because we are like at the end of the day, that's what I had to like really think about. Like we at the end of the day, we have to stand in our truth. We have to live in our truth. And at the end of the day, we are lit, like, you know, and I don't know what I love playing with words too. So it's just like, it was perfect for me. So.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Has there ever been a time where fear has held you back? Like you put your stuff out there and you're like staring at the numbers, like no one has like my picture yet. I'm nervous. Like, will this be good? Like, will I get people to buy it? Like, am I charging too much? Has fear ever like stopped you from pursuing what makes you happy?
Um, I wouldn't say stop, but I've had doubts.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I feel like it doesn't matter what I'm doing, what my goal is. I don't feel like I never stop working towards those. It's
Mm-hmm.
just that sometimes, like, I'm gonna always be moving forward, but sometimes I may get a few step backs a little bit more than I expected, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say like I've had my doubts, and I feel like once again it also comes with like having like someone and yourself also affirm like that you are worth it. You like if these honestly if these white people can pay for like a candle that is uh that's like $40, but it's like
Yes.
this small and lasts you for an hour. You can sit here and buy a candle that lasts much longer, but
Yes.
also has this less ingredients
Mm-hmm.
because it doesn't have all these chemicals in it. It's just like, yeah. So it's just like I had to really like put that in perspective and also like put myself into groups that I know that would make me feel good. So like I started like entering certain groups that was
Mm-hmm.
just like, oh, like yo, my candle came out fucked up, like it came out messed up, like no, like how, like, and people in there like, you know, it's okay, like this is how I start and this is how it was, you know. So just having like those groups also like affirm me and like, okay, no, this is normal. And then like if you really look at it too, like if you go into these stores, and this is just for like any product, all of them is not perfect, and you have to
Mm-hmm.
also like recognize for yourself that like everything is not going to come out perfect, everything is not, but also just affirming and being truthful, I feel like, with your customers, you know, and
Yeah.
being like, yo, like I'm a one person, you know, that's making these actual products. Like you got to remember, like you got factories that are making these products and making them way worse than what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just
Mm-hmm.
like you got to also realize that you got to like recognize your worth and realize that like you also are putting your energy into these things. You know, it's not just you working and you just putting things together like a factory worker, but you're
Mm-hmm.
also actually taking the time to think about what's going into these products. Um, what needs to be in it? What do people need? You know, especially
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to like, people healing, like healing practices and like starting. That's the foundation. You know, is actually, you know, affirming and like making sure like you know what they need, and the same in return is like you know that your product is good because they're good reviews, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
and that's a reward, you know, not just also like the paycheck out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that is what like also keeps me up with that.
Yeah. 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 Having that external support that is needed, and it's good. And I love that you said like it doesn't need to be perfect for people to like understand your intention behind what you're doing, and how you're building them up while they're also building you up. Like I think that there's an assumption that everything, and I'm like this way too, but like everything has to be perfect in order for anybody to see it. And it's like, no, just do it. And then, you'll learn along the way. You'll make mistakes. You will adjust. You will be flexible, but it'll be okay at the end of the day. Um,
Yeah.
when you think about like empowering others who may want to kind of be in this career path, they want to make their own candles. They want to open their own shop. They want to be a sticker maker. They want to, I don't know, be a carpenter. Like, what advice would you give to folks who really want to step out and pursue their dreams, but like are scared to do it, especially in the Black community, especially in the Black trans community? Like, what's some advice that you might have for them?
just do it. Like, no, like seriously, like let me tell you, like honestly, like before We Lit came to life, right? Like my partner and I, we had made like this whole little business plan, everything, like this is what we're gonna launch, blah blah. But I woke up one morning, like probably like a month and a half early, like that I was supposed to launch, and I was like, no, I need to launch it now.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like I was scared to do that, but I was just like, I know that if I wait later on, I'm gonna be too timid to do it, you know? Like I
Mm-hmm.
need to do it right now, and the only way for me to grow is to like put myself out there, you know, and be
Mm-hmm.
uncomfortable with that. And people who know me and you know would have to just trust me, you know, in those moments.
Mm-hmm.
That's just like you going, you kind of go into a loan shark, you know, like it's just like I don't know, but I'm gonna try it, you know.
Yes.
So you got to look at it like that, and yeah, like and then also like what happened was like I seen this meme, and it was just like throw the business out there and fix it later, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to throw the business out there and you fix it later, because at the end of the day, it's just like people are going to see like this is your baby, and if obviously if you're not growing, your business is not growing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like that's what it is. And I feel like that is also what's going to teach you, or like teach an individual like to see where they at, you know,
Mm-hmm.
to see where they're mentally at, to see where you're physically at, is like by that.
Yeah, yeah, and to see
So
where
like
you're
just
going, to see where you're growing, where you're going, where you're growing, like to see that kind of trajectory.
yeah.
Um, when you think about We Lit 5 years from now, what is your vision for your company?
5 years. Ooh, and this is on live, so you know that.
So in 5 years, I'm gonna hit you up and be like, Dream, look, remember what you said? Look at the
Right,
universe
5 years.
manifesting.
No, honestly, I want to start like having a program for like attached to We Lit that is for trans and homeless folks.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm not sure exactly what that looks like just yet, but that's was something that I'm working towards. But also have like something mobile by then for We Lit.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's why we also have like the GoFundMe too, because it's
Mm-hmm.
just like this is gonna be the start up of what I am later on investing into the community, you know. So it's just like
Mm-hmm.
I want to go national, like, and be like, you know, going around giving out free candles to like, you know, trans and homeless folks, and just like, yo, like you are alive, you are beautiful, like at the end of the day. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I feel like that's what in the next like 5 years I want to do with We Lit. So
That's so beautiful. Tell everybody how they can purchase your candles, about the GoFundMe. Yeah, tell everyone about that.
yes, so first, so um, the GoFundMe is pretty much is going for us to go to hit the road, because we are going to start slowly. We want to expand, right? So like within the 5 years, I want to be going like not like on the road physically, telling folks like we are in this state for this amount of time. Come get your candles. We will drive it to you with no issues. All these other things, right? So the GoFundMe is pretty much to start that project up, and start to give and deliver free candles and like free shipping to Black trans people in the DMV area.
Mm-hmm.
And the GoFundMe is like in my personal bio, also my We Lit bio, We Live in Truth bio. You just have to click that and it's right there.
Mm-hmm.
As well as the website where it's in the link tree as well, in my bio. And you just browse on what you like. They have different scents. Also about to come out with the Christmas scents. So we're
About
gonna
to
see
be
how that
gingerbread
goes.
houses and
Oh no.
Gingerbread house and
You
just
know, I
sugar
try
cookies.
to honestly, I try to stay close to like a lot of natural scents.
Mm-hmm.
I try because it's just like I feel like I don't like all those chemicals, you know, and I don't like all those artificial things. And I feel like
Mm-hmm.
those scents are kind of like artificial when it comes to like candles sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I wish that like probably next year, you know, figure out like what can be like a natural scent that smells similar to those, you know,
Mm-hmm.
um, because I realized that like I don't know if it's just me or my nose is just really sensitive to those things, but I could sometimes smell like the artificial, like what did you put in
Mm-hmm.
this, you
Yeah,
know? So
like why it smell like plastic? Like what is
right.
this? Like when you buy a cheap candle, it be smelling weird. You're like, I should have bought
And a lot
cheaper
of
one.
times it's because they put a lot of like chemicals in them to like preserve them too. Because you know, like
Mm-hmm.
you don't know how long it's gonna be in a factory, you don't know how long it's gonna be in the store too. So it's
Mm-hmm.
just like they gotta preserve it, you know.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's amazing. So, Dream will be back during the last week of our flea market, and this was so wonderful. I'm so excited for people
Yes.
to flock to your page and buy your candles. The holiday season is coming up. You need some candles for your loved ones, your partners. Like,
And
come
we
get
having a
them.
sale too next week.
See, look, you heard it here first on the live. Like having a wholesale, this is gonna be wonderful. So, Dream, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. And
Thank you.
I'm so happy that a company like yours exists. I'm so happy that you exist. I'm so happy to know you. I'm just thank you for making my night. This was wonderful.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. And thank you everyone for joining. Make me numb makes I don't know how to read that one. The travel anthropologist, Brew Prince. Thank you for joining. We appreciate you for being here, and we will see you again on Friday night when we connect with the founder of Glimmer. So thank you everyone. Bye. Bye, Dream.
Later.